you ready to make technology work for you? Tune in to Act on Tech, the podcast where we break down the latest tech trends and show you how to boost your productivity at home and in your business. So, subscribe to Act on Tech today and visit alexcustomtech.com to see how we can take your business to the next level. That's Act on Tech, your guide to smarter tech for a smarter business. Alex Custom Tech, IT means integrity and trust.
Hello, hi, welcome. This is Act on Tech, where we talk all things technology. I am Alex of Alex Custom Tech, and today we're going to talk about the true cost of downtime. So whether it's frozen screens, a failed internet connection, or full-blown system crash, when your tech stops working, your business hits pause, right? But downtime costs more than just frustration. Today we're digging into how much it really costs you, right? As far as time and money and trust and opportunity. So just hang out with us today and let me walk you through this, because like I said, like I don't want to do this podcast and be like telling you what to do. I'm just giving you tips from my experience, what I experienced with other customers, what I've seen over the years. I've been doing this for over 15 years now. So I feel like, okay, like I said, this podcast is to promote Alex Custom Tech as a business, as an MSP. You can call to solve these problems that I'm talking about, but at the same time, you can do some of your own due diligence and be your own tech person if you take the time to address these problems. Like this one here, the last topic I talked about, that was a big deal, and this one is a big deal. Like this one is, we talk about mission critical, or this is something that you really should be doing no matter what your business is. So I'm going to try to walk through you with this particular topic, and I'm going to take my time with this topic, and just bear with me, right? Like I said, I'm not the most entertaining person in the world, but the information that I'm dispensing here is very crucial. So the true cost of downtime. All right. This episode, we're going to walk you through what's downtime, what it really means for a small business, what causes it, how to estimate your real cost, what you're really losing, the most important, and what is most important is how to reduce and avoid it entirely, right? If you ever said, I'll cross the bridge whenever I get there, which is why I really don't I'm not a salesperson, and I don't have a sales team. Not that I'm totally against a sales team. It's just that what I consider sales and what is conventionally now considered sales goes against my principles. So my idea of marketing and sales is a sign what the business name is, how they contact the business, and what the business does. That's my idea of marketing. And again, and to be fair, I mean, I probably would have get more customers if I was more wheeling and dealing, but I don't want to wheel and deal. I don't like it. I think it has a sense of manipulation, and I don't like it. But like even this, I have to walk a very thin line with this topic, because this topic, as my AC just came on, with this topic, there's a element of fear in it, but I'm trying to tell you, like, it doesn't have to be scary if you do the things that I'm saying you can do in this topic. So I'm actually going to give you the solutions here. You don't have to really call me. You can do it yourself. It'll be great if you call me, because then I have one more client that I can lock in under a subscription, and I can just keep monitoring, because I would love to be able to stop my day job and just do this full time, right? But it's not a fear tactic. It's an awareness. Oh, this can happen, and this could be the cost of it. Let me address this before it becomes a thing, right? So, like I said, don't say to yourself in your business, I'll cross that bridge when I get there. Not when it comes to downtime. Can't do that. All right. Now, key definitions we're going to talk about today. All right. Downtime itself in the tech world. What does downtime mean? Anytime when your system or services are unavailable or not functioning, that's downtime. Next word we're going to be using: unplanned downtime, unexpected disruption, hardware crashes, internet outage, or cyber attacks. We'll talk about some of these already, right? Planned downtime, maintenance or updates that are scheduled in advance. Business continuity, right? This is your ability to keep running while things are down, right? That's 4 things we're going to talk about. We're going to try to cover these 4 things, kind of get it in your mind, these terminologies. So, financial costs. Say every hour you're down, you can lose hundreds or $1,000. Depends on your business, how much money coming in every day. When it goes down, your phone's not ringing, your computer's not working, you can't get online, you can't look in your emails. All this stuff is good. Maybe you need to print receipts, whatever. You're a retail shop and people have things, people are on the line to buy things and you can't use your POS. People get frustrated. Online business lose sales, service business miss leads and opportunities, right? If it goes down, right? For example, if you have a sale of $600 an hour, right? So you have 600. Let me say. So you miss calls. So 4 missed calls in one morning is $600, right? Repeat that once a week, you're looking at like $30,000 a year, right? And that's like a rough math off the top of my head. So that's kind of how serious this is, right? Reputation costs. So that would have talked about the financial costs. Reputation costs. Customer expect quick, reliable responses. Now, this is debatable, right? I don't really prescribe to the whole customer is right thing, but customer expect you to deliver on a deliverable, right? So if you can't do that, they have the right to be frustrated and go somewhere else that's more reliable. That's well within their right as customers, right? And you really have an excuse. You're supposed to have your business up and running and functionable. And even if you don't answer the phone right away, you should be able to return the phone call, within that day. I'm not saying within an hour because I don't really prescribe to that, but you're supposed to be able to get back to them. There's certain business etiquettes that should be taking place, right? And if you're not getting phone calls or you're not answering emails or they can't email you or whatever, that's really a bad look on you. It's a bad reputation, right? When your system goes down and they can't reach you, same thing we talk about. One bad experience could cost you them or them recommending you to somebody else, right? Example, if your email goes down during a client project, like you're working on something and your client's talking back and forth, emails, like I love emails, I love texts. As an introvert, I'm not really big on the conversations. Not that I won't have them, but I much rather email you when you email me, or you text me and I text you. I much rather that than the actual conversation. Again, these are things about my personality that kind of make my whole thing a little bit difficult, because people like that one-on-one interaction. It doesn't work for me. But anyway, for a person like me who likes communication via email and text, right, the written word, if I'm unable to do that, the customer is gonna get anxiety, because that's the way I communicate, and all of a sudden I go dark, right? They don't know why, they don't care why. I'm not gonna communicate with them, they're gonna get upset. So reputation costs. Now, operational costs. When the system goes down, employees sit idle. I know this for a fact. I work for a company. I'm not the IT guy, full-blown IT guy. I am like a liaison there. So there's another IT team, and I remember, I think it was 2020, Google went down, which was weird because Google went G Suite went down and we couldn't do any emails or anything like that. That was weird, and it was down for like 45 minutes to an hour. But we all sat there for 45 minutes with the whole staff, and it's like it got to be like 30 of us in the office. It's a lot of money they lost that hour, right? So again, even that is a problem, right? So delayed project, overwhelming staff, they're gonna upset because once it comes back online, they gotta catch up all those phone calls they missed, all those emails. They weren't able to work for the hour, so they still got 8 hours and they have to like make up for that. So that's kind of frustrating for some people, right? Lost productivity builds up over time, creates stress for the employees, right? What causes downtime? We talk about this in other podcasts. I kind of hit on this in other podcasts, but I was kind of bringing it home now. But we'll talk about this in other podcasts. Old equipment. We'll talk about life cycles. All right. And again, it depends. Life cycles is important, right? But we don't have. Okay. How do I explain this? Like, I have old equipment here in my radio station and in my business. But again, I'm a tech guy, so I know I have the old equipment and I have a backup plan or a plan for it in case it goes down, right? But you other businesses don't have that, so you really shouldn't be taking that kind of risk unless you're comfortable with technology and you have a plan, right? So old equipment die. Hard drives are notorious for dying. So even SSD sometimes, like I'm surprised. I had a PFSense router running. No, actually I'm lying. A couple of years ago I had a media server and it had a SSD running the OS, and I thought for sure that wasn't gonna crash. And then a couple of years, and all of a sudden, nothing. It just died on me, and that was surprising. But again, it was an old SSD. It was like when it just came out, I bought that one. So, yeah. So that happens. So old equipment, right? Poor network setup. Get a network engineer like myself or someone else, some MSP to set up your network. Give it some kind of sense of redundancy. Redundancy is that it doesn't have one point of failure. We talk about that a little bit. I think I mentioned that in a lot of podcasts before. Point of failure. You don't want to have one internet. You don't want to have one internet connection or one WAN connection. You want to have like maybe two different person that provide you internet. Maybe Verizon, maybe your Comcast, which is your like coaxial cable coming in, and maybe have like a wireless internet connection with AT&T or Verizon. That's like your backup internet. So in case one goes down, it fail over to the other one. These are like planning ahead. Like, I know you're paying for things twice, but if your business depends on it, like, I think it's worth it. Again, if you can afford to lose internet and wait for it to come back up, and it's not going to cost you anything, like, it's fine. But again, if you're really depending on the internet, no, get a failover, get some kind of failover. Support internet setup. Cyber security breaches. We'll talk about cyber security already. I told you what to do about this. Get yourself, train your staff about the emails, phishing attacks, secure your passwords, that kind of stuff. We talked about that. And no support plan. This is kind of where the MSP comes in. What is your tech goes down? You don't want to be scrambling. You don't want to be scrambling. You want to have somebody to call. You want to have a plan in place. When my clients, something goes wrong, they call me. Alex, this went down, that went down. If they're not with me as under a contract, they have to call me when something goes. That's known as break fix. They'll call me when something goes down, and then I'll go out to them if I get the time, which might not be right away, unless they pay me to come right away, which is more money. And I'll go out there and I'll fix it. What does happen, like something goes down. I remember I have a couple of clients that are like automotive shops that their system go down and they have customers in there. They have to come out there right away. So they have to give me extra money for me to drop what I'm doing to come out there right away. You don't want that to be the case, and I don't want that to be the case. That's why I charge more money for that, because you can prevent that from happening if you have me under a contract where it's kind of on tenure, where I prioritize you. So And the thing and what's cool about that is that things don't break as they would if you weren't on the contract. Let me explain to you how it works. When you have an MSP on the contract, he taps into all your system, all of your devices, right? So he's monitoring it on a regular basis, 24 hours a day. And it might sound, it's not like he's sitting there watching it 24 hours a day, but the system alerts him if there's anything funny, because nine times out of 10 with computers, even hard drives, when they're failing, they'll send out signs like, hey, I'm going bad, or this is not working, or I'm getting errors here or here, and then he'll know, and he can proactively deal with that before it becomes a crash, so it doesn't crash and you're out of business for like 2-3 hours until he comes in there. He's proactive. He's not gonna crash, or if he even does crash, it's like he's gonna come out there right away. You can call him and say, hey, something happened, and he'll come out there, because again, you're on a contract with you, so you have to prioritize you. That's what the MSP does. That's what that contract is. So I'm not saying that it's money you have to pay every month, yes, but you have to retain him. Again, if your business is important and you're using technology and you're relying on technology, you have to have a way of maintaining it. Again, if you can do this yourself, by all means, you don't pay for a contract for somebody to pay. But again, if you're a dentist's office, because I remember I use that as an example, because I remember I'm a dentist, work for a dentist, and he had to do some backups, and I went in there and I did backups for him, and I told him, like, you need to sign up, because if something goes wrong, you need somebody here right away, or somebody who knows about it ahead of time. He refused to sign up, and I'm the one that did that. He was difficult to begin with, because there's other MSPs that he called to help him with the backups, and pretty much what he was doing, he was transferring all his backup from one server to a new server that he got. He was working with a company. The company that called me out was DD5, I think. That was 6 years ago. But it's a company out of California, and they do backups, and I used to work with them. And then they recommended me to go out there, because he couldn't get anybody on his own, because all the MSPs he called would not do it without a contract. You have to lock in with them for at least 6 months or a year for them to come out there and help him with anything. They wouldn't touch him. And I said, yeah, I'll help him with the backups, because that's kind of how I am. I'm very flexible like that. Like I said, I'll come and help you with the backups. But they're not wrong. You really should sign up for someone. He didn't do it, and then his system went down. It crashed like about 3 years after, and he called. They didn't help him. Like, it wasn't the ones on the contract. And when he called me, he wouldn't pay the money for me to come out there right away. And I'm like, I'll see you when I see you, bro. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what I'm saying. It's like, no one wants to be like that, but we were told the hell of time, like, this is something that you need to consider. Again, computers don't last forever, right? They're moving parts. The electronics, it's nodes. There's a lot of power going through it. After a while, the screen doesn't work. After a while, things don't work. Do you want to wait for that to happen? Can you afford for that to happen? Or, because if you require this stuff to work all the time, you have to have an MSP there supporting you in that venture. You can't do it on your own. So I'm not really beating you guys over the head again. I'm not trying to do that. That's not what this podcast is about. But I want you to really take this into consideration. And yes, Alex Custom Tech help with that. I would love it if I can get more customers signing up on my contracts for 6 months or a year, and have me monitoring the things, and have the more people have the monitor, the less I have to go to the other job. So that would love that. I'm not going to sit there and act like I don't want that to happen, but I really don't believe in manipulation of anyone to do anything. So I want to tell you what the reality is, and you can make your own decision. Because one of the things that I'm trying to tell you, let me go over it again. If you want to focus on your business, whether it be a dentist, whether it be automotive, whether it be a lawyer office, if you just want to focus on what you do in your core business and you don't want to worry about this, by all means, call us. We'll help you out with that, because I want to focus on that. But if you don't want to pay that money every month for an ISP, monitor it yourself, right? But really take that responsibility seriously, because that has to be monitored. Because again, the cost of you going down is just way too costly. That's what I'm saying. So we talked about the things to do to prevent it or reduce it, right? So know the risk, right? Have a support plan. Know your risk. Identify which tools and system that you use on a regular basis. We call that mission critical. What software is mission critical? You cannot go without it. 9 times out of 10 is internet. That's like the main thing you want up all the time. And maybe some kind of a Excel spreadsheet, or maybe it's Google, or whatever it is. Like, company that I work for has a DOS system, which is like weird me saying that, but they have a DOS system that is mission critical, right? And they can't do without it. So that's a mission critical software that they use all the time, right? And let's see what else. Know how much revenue you generate each hour. It depends on you. I think it's good to have these numbers. Invest in monitoring and maintenance. Like I said, downtime is cost too much money. Get an MSP to help you out with this stuff. It's cheaper to pay for them than to call them out when things go bad. It really is. You gotta pay me a whole lot of money, and you gotta pay. You're losing money at the same time. Like it. You think about it, doesn't make any sense, because you could have had me there from before it broke, right? And again, like I said, Alex Custom Tech help with your monitoring. If you go to the website, you can see it. We do 24-hour monitoring. And so the takeaway from this, like I said, downtime hurts more than just the bottom line. It hurts your reputation and the momentum of the business. You might lose customers, you lose that, you lose the trust, you lose your employees. There's a lollygag after that. People don't recommend you anymore because you're unreliable, and it costs you a lot of money in your pocket. Don't wait until something breaks, right? Get an MSP in place. Like I said, it doesn't have to be me, but get someone that knows about technology that can monitor your network. I mean, it costs some money up front, right? Every month, but it's still cheaper to pay them every month than to pay them when things go bad. That's what I'm trying to say. That's key. All right, audit your tech, create backups. We talk about this cybersecurity. We talk about prosumer routers, which are way more reliable than the consumer ones. We talk about a little bit about Wi-Fi and VPNs, reliable stuff. We talk about Azure to protect your identity. We talked about deep web and dark web. We talked about that. So I covered a lot of these topics here and there, touching them a little bit, but this is kind of where I'm bringing it home to you, for you to understand that this is very, very crucial. We working on this and getting someone in to help you with this, so you can focus on your core business. Or if you want to do the dual job, that's fine. But even if you're doing a dual job, right, there's softwares out there that can help you do this, as long as you spend the time. It's a learning curve, but spend the time monitoring the software so that you can monitor it, know when things go bad. So there's software that help you do that, and you can use AI. ChatGPT, ask her how to set up some kind of a support plan for yourself, right? So you can go step by step and then monitor your own stuff. That's the idea. Like you see, I'm actually taking away job from people using AI, but at the same time, if you want to save the money, why not do that? But if you are gonna do it, it's kind of like another job. So you're going to be doing whatever you do in your core business, and then you're going to do this other thing on the side as a tech person. So you're the owner, you're doing the actual core job, and then you're also a tech guy. I mean, if you want to do that, that's fine. Like personally for me, I run this business. I'm the tech guy, and I'm the administration. I'm on this, and it's exhausting. I don't like doing it. It's too much work. I would love to delegate some of these things to other people and just focus on the tech part of it. So, and I know that from a tech person, I'm saying that. So I don't know how you guys feel about what you do for a living, but I would rather do the tech thing only. Just fix the computers and design the network and do the podcasts, and that's it. Like I would just want to do that, and I don't want to touch the bills or pay the taxes. I don't want to do that. I want to just fix things. But again, it is what it is. So take this into consideration. Like I always say, stay productive, right? Take what I say into consideration, right? It is good for you to have someone there to help you guys with it. So take into consideration. Right, thanks for listening to Act on Tech. We are where we talk all things technology. I'm your host, Alex of Alex Custom Tech, and I want your business to stay strong, secure, and ready for anything. All right, stay productive.